This recording, hello, testing. Move that over. Yeah, that's better. I haven't done one of these for a while, so I'm just experimenting, trying to get back into it. Is it light enough, dark enough, good enough, sound okay? Let me know where you're from, drop a comment. Love to know where my reach gets to with these videos. Why haven't I been on Facebook Lives or YouTube for a while? Interesting story. But I'm going to start by, because you probably don't know me, or well, I want to start from the beginning with my story. So I'm James. I'm 38 years old now. Just 1st of October today, but it's my birthday. 2nd of August, I turned 38. When I was 5, I was in a devastating car accident that nearly resulted in the end of my life. My sister didn't make it. My mum had a traumatic injury, breaking her neck. So that was very horrific. I was put in a coma. The doctors struggled to put me in a coma, and then said if I came out of that coma, I would probably not be in a condition to live life, be paralysed in a wheelchair for the remainder of my life. They turned off the life support machine after about 3 weeks, I think, and I didn't breathe unaided. So my parents, having already lost one child, didn't want to lose another. Pleaded with the medical profession looking after me to turn it back on, which they did, to give me a bit more time. And then the day came when they couldn't keep it on any longer, because they thought I was too badly brain dead, damaged to, was it even worth it? So they turned the machine off, and I started to breathe unaided, slowly by myself. So that was that. So that was in 1986 when I was 5. I was then in hospital for a year. They put me on the children's ward, started to make a reasonable recovery. Couldn't do a lot. Couldn't talk or fend for myself. Had a lot of intensive physio. I remember my physio back in the day was a lady called Christine. She took me down to the physio department and used to lie me over one of those big gym balls and try and make me come up on my own and stretch my back and for my pelvis and that. So a lot of physio slowly started to get a little bit stronger. My nan said I was like Pinocchio, all loose and floppy back then. So yeah, I worked really hard. I didn't really like it in hospital. It was a bit isolating, and it was a hospital, so as you can imagine, that wasn't the greatest thing when you're 5 years old. And I was told that if I managed to sit myself up on my own, pull myself up, I could go home. So being me, quite determined, don't take no for an answer, I pulled myself up with sheer might and that amazed everyone, and I learnt to start to talk, although I sounded like a robot with batteries that had nearly run out. I pulled myself up, and then the doctors thought about maybe sending me home and looking for a school for rehabilitating disabled children which I could go to. I live in Exeter in Devon in the UK. Unfortunately, near where my grandparents live, there's a school called Branch House that deals with disabled children. Mainly, there's cerebral palsy and spina bifida. Spina bifida, I remember being in the pool there, did a lot of hydrotherapy, and there was a lot of children with spina bifida, so I was quite familiar with that condition. And obviously I had a traumatic brain injury. Bearing in mind I was 5 years old and I'd already been going to school and learnt how to read and write, and then learnt all my times tables. And one of my last memories was, before the accident, was of just learning all my times tables, passing this times tables test, and coming out of school, and my mum giving me a present for passing the tables test and remembering like all the times tables. So that was quite good. But obviously with a traumatic brain injury and being paralysed, I was paralysed on my left side when I woke up from the coma. Forgotten everything, had to start again, reading, writing, talking, everything. Had to relearn my times tables, but now we don't do that because we have a smartphone at our disposal on our person. So I still don't know my times tables very well, but don't need to. So I went to Branch House School, had intensive physio there as well as being taught about reading and writing and counting, basic stuff that at 6 you should already know, but I had to relearn everything. I remember one of the first things that they got me to do was they had the big apple, and if you blew on this apple, a little worm would pop out. And for me, blowing was even challenging, so I would and this little worm would pop up on top of the apple. So yeah, even that was a big deal. And I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, it was amazing. It's amazing to think back to those times right now and think what happened. And I learnt to walk again slowly. A lot of intensive physio and hydrotherapy, and a lot of swimming lessons, swimming in the pool to get my limbs working and everything. And slowly I learnt to walk, put one foot in front of the other. That was something that I was always encouraged to never give up, never say I can't. Keep going, even though I didn't really want to. I wanted an electric wheelchair like my friend had at Branch House, but that was never an option. Had it been an option, I maybe wouldn't be doing this right now, because I sort of would have become accustomed to life in a wheelchair, and that wasn't for me, which I'm grateful for. So, as I say, I learnt to walk. I had this amazing physiotherapist at Branch House called Penny Hill. She helped me a lot and I had a walking frame at first, and then I also had big clumpy red boots and a splint, splint that like a plastic thing that holds my leg, and it goes around your shin, the back of your leg, and then under the foot because my foot drops, so it picks the foot up and helps me walk. So yeah, I had all these. I had to have speech therapy a lot. I didn't really enjoy that because it was a bit frustrating. So all this rehabilitation, and then when I was well enough, got sent back to mainstream education, got sent to a little school near where we lived. Then we moved to a village called West Hill. My dad had a construction company at the time, built a house. His company built this house. So we moved to West Hill, where my dad's parents lived, and there was a school sort of behind where we lived. So I went there, and there was only about less than 50 children in this school, so it was very convenient. Obviously, being disabled, going back, I must have been about 8 when 7 or 8 when I started going back into school system. Being 8 and disabled and not really knowing who you are or what's going on, and struggling to walk and talk and everything. It wasn't very easy. I did get bullied, as you can imagine. School bullying was a thing that I had to deal with. It was difficult, still is difficult to make friends. But I got through school, and although it was difficult, and I suffered with short-term memory loss. So when the teacher would write something on the board and then I'd look down to copy it, I would have forgotten it. So it would take me about 6 times as longer than everyone else to copy a sentence off the blackboard. So that was one of my first challenges, as well as writing, because my hand was my right hand, my left side was weak because it was paralysed. And my right side became dominant, and I would push so hard with my right hand that I tear the paper. So I had to learn how to hold a pen and write stuff. So, and because I pushed so hard, it would drag and take, like, my writing speed would be slower than everyone else's. Plus, it would take me a long time to copy anything, to remember it. So there were lots of challenges, but as we know, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So all my challenges, I believe, have made me a stronger person. Education, the school, after that little school, I went to a big boarding school with 800 people. Very scary. That is where I got traumatized, and in later life that I came to realize that, which I'll get to in a minute. I hated it so much there because all my support system was taken away, my cozy environment stripped away, and it was very cold, and I didn't like the boarding house that I was in. Everyone didn't really understand me, although they tried to help. It was very traumatic for me, not knowing how to cope on my own or deal with a situation like that. And then so I spent nearly 2 terms at that school before I got taken out of that finally, after making a lot of fuss. And then I came out of school, and then for a few weeks, I went round looking at other schools with my parents, found another boarding school, and I went there. I did start boarding, and then I became a daily boarder and a day pupil, and that bus would pick me up at 7 and drop me back at 7. So the days were so long. So then I opted to board again at that school. I became a weekly boarder, and although I still didn't really enjoy it, I got on with it, and slowly after a while I enjoyed that. And I remember even some weekends I would want to stay at school rather than go home. Made a few friends, and then we'd always have Saturday morning school, and then in the afternoon we'd watch TV and stuff, and then Sunday we'd get there'd be a school trip out, so I did that. And then I got as far as doing my A-levels, and then that school suddenly went bankrupt. So that was not good. And then I went to a college in Exeter and to do an NVQ in IT and business skills. And that was a college aimed at helping disabled people get back into work. Not that it really helped me get back into work, because I'd just come out of college, of sixth form education. I found that very degrading, because I was 19 at the time, and you were treated a bit like a child, so that was quite frustrating for me. And then what happened after that? After that, I struggled to get a job. I was 9 months at this college doing this NVQ, probably was it 19 months? It was a long time, I know that. And then when I left there, I struggled to find a job, and then I got a job as an office junior down on an industrial estate here in Exeter. So that was okay. And I did that for 4 years. I've always been trying to fix myself and live the best version of myself, and just I felt like I was going just through life. You do this, you do that, and I was trying to be myself. Had a physio that came and saw me on Sundays at home during, when I was at boarding school. I'd have Saturday morning school and then come home, and then Sunday this physio would come and put me through my paces, which at the time I didn't enjoy. I hated it because he used to make me run around the garden, and I would scream and cry and yeah, it was. So I just didn't want to do it, and it hurt. But from that, and the mentality that I've been given from coming out of the coma and the accident and learning to walk again is never give up. There's no such word as can't. Keep going. So that sort of got ingrained into my mindset from a very early age, and that's what I do. I always give things a go, even if I don't like them. I'll still try. So I had this physio who I hated. I didn't hate him. I hated the process of the training of I did some weight training circuits with him, and then he'd make me run around the garden, run up and down the hill, and roll around, and I really didn't enjoy that. But then I started going to the gym more because I was quite inactive at school, and being at boarding school, you'd get cooked dinners 3 times a day, and I would be sent to school with a tuck box full of cakes and biscuits and sweets and what have you. So I got a little bit chubby, and then when I got out into the real world, especially when I was about 21, I was quite overweight, and when I started to try and go out and socialise and make friends, I would think, I don't quite fit in because the model in my head doesn't match up to the way it is. And so then I started going to the gym a lot, although I didn't like the physio and the running around in the garden. I soon went to the gym because I could burn a lot of calories and get slimmer and lose a lot of weight. So for me, that became a thing I did. And I kind of developed a bit of an eating disorder through doing that, where I just go on marathon calorie burning, spend an hour on the rower, an hour on the cross trainer, and so I'd burn up like 900 calories, and then I'd go and have a jacket potato with some tuna in, which wasn't sufficient to replace those calories, but I did lose a lot of weight. And then when I started losing weight, I started to feel a bit better about myself, although something felt like it was always missing no matter what I did. Health-wise, after the physio, it was then the gym, and then I got into nutrition, healthy eating. Then I wouldn't allow myself any chocolate and cakes and stuff like that. And so I'd be really strict with myself on my diet and my eating, and that became a big fixation in my mind. And whenever I'd be with my family, they'd be like, oh, go and have some cake and go and have a biscuit with a cup of tea, and I would be like, oh no, and they'd be like, oh yes, go on, treat yourself. And then it became sort of, I'd get angry and cross with them because to me, they didn't understand that what I was trying to do was to make myself feel better, and they were just trying to do the opposite. And so that was quite frustrating. And I imagine anyone who's gone through the same thing as that can empathise with me. People worry about you, and you're worrying about, I'm doing this to make myself feel better, and then other people don't understand and then argue and you just get angry and uptight. So I was going to the gym after work. I'd get the bus home. I'd ask my boss if I could leave work 5 minutes early so I could get the bus, so that I could get home, get changed, then walk back to the bus stop to go to the gym, and then I'd be at the gym for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I had a bite to eat in the gym because it was in a golf club, so I'd go and have a drink and my jacket potato or whatever, and then I'd wait for the bus to come home. Even if it was raining, I'd still make myself go because that's what I do, and I just set myself high standards and expectations, and that's why that became who I was. So but over all the years, I've still felt like there was something missing, no matter what I did. I would go to the gym, I'd lose a lot of weight, and then got a personal trainer. I tried to bulk up, put some muscle on, and that didn't work. And then I felt a bit depressed because it was a bit hopeless. Like, no matter what I did, I still didn't feel like I could fix myself. I remember I was in the gym one time and I was doing a lot of rowing, and then my new personal trainer set me the target to row 2,500 meters in under 10 minutes. And when someone sets me a target, I like to smash it, not just beat it, but really smash it. So I remember I would sit on this rower and really row like my life depended on it until I could get under 10 minutes. And then I did, and then I did it again to do it quicker and quicker. And then I think I got down to like 8 minutes 20 or something. And my trainer at the time, he said, "You're a lot fitter than most of my other clients." So that helped my self-esteem. But because I still didn't feel happy with myself, and I was taking all these sports supplements, protein powders, branched chain amino acids, all these different potions, supplements, multivitamins, and all these concoctions to try and fix myself and make myself feel whole again. And I just got depressed and down, and parents didn't understand me, and we always argued because they didn't understand me, I didn't understand me, no one understood me. And then I lost my job, and so then I got another job. I've been lucky that I'd done a summer job at a theatre, and I knew the theatre manager through the summer job I had. So when I lost my office job, I had contacted her, and then I went up for a trial shift at the theatre in the box office, and she took me on then and there, and I did ticket sales in the theatre box office for 4.5 years, nearly 5 years. Really enjoyed that, although again I got depressed. Dealing with people on the phone all the time, and the phone wouldn't stop. And although people said, "Oh, I really like you, and you're really nice to deal with and stuff," but then you get the awkward customer, and I'd run out of patience, and they'd run out of patience. So it really wasn't a good combination. And then eventually, I just lost it with a customer on the phone. And then I was like, "This isn't helping me. I'm just going to leave my job. I'm just going to hand my notice in because I'm not happy." So I handed my notice in, didn't really know what I was going to do. At this stage of my life, I was seeing a massage therapist who was doing Reiki. My aunt got me a voucher for Reiki treatments 1 year, and then I just became really good friends with this woman who did Reiki, and she also did massage. So she used to come around to my flat and bring her table and give me massages. And she said, "Why don't you think about going on a writing holiday?" And I thought, that doesn't sound like an enjoyable holiday to me, to go and sit down and write. And one of the ladies in the box office where I was, she was into writing screenplays, and I went to a few acting classes and the theatre group with her and stuff, and that I quite enjoyed that. But then when I quit my job, I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I went on this writing retreat holiday thing with Skiros Holidays. You can look them up online. And I called it Holistic Hippie Holidays, because it was all that mindset of holistic and well-being, which I was waking up to as I was still looking for a way to complete myself, because I still felt broken inside, even though I'd become quite fit in the gym, and I'd lost a lot of weight. I'd gone down to probably 32-inch waist from like 48. Back in the day at my biggest, I think I was must have been about 48. So lost a lot of weight, became a lot fitter and stronger, but still felt broken and depressed inside. I tried to, thought about taking my life, and there must be a way out. But that isn't the answer. Well, it is, it feels like the answer. You think it is, but it's not really the answer. And I'm getting a bit moved explaining this. But because of what happened in my family, I kind of don't feel I can do that to them. And I've since read a quote that committing suicide doesn't take the pain away, it just passes it on to someone else. And that's quite powerful, I think. And so I didn't do that. I went on this writing holiday. Had an amazing time. It's one of the best things I've done. Although the idea of it wasn't enthralling at all. But on that holiday, I started to write my book, my first book, my memoir, my story. It's called On the Edge, Stepping Back from the Brink of Suicide. That was my cathartic way of letting out everything that was trapped inside. Although that helped at the time, it was a cathartic exercise, I still didn't fill that void or like give me purpose or whatever. But I enjoyed the writing process. The holiday was good. We were in Greece, in Skiros. I met loads of nice people that really loved and appreciated me for being there. And it was like being in Big Brother house kind of thing. Everyone, it was amazing. I look up Skiros holidays if that's something you'd be interested in. They do other things, not just writing, but they do other like retreat type things. So that was that. And then when I came back from there, I finished my book. I spent 2 years writing that, and then I self-published it with Author House, which